and welcome to Everything is the Same Except, a podcast where we take any media we want, alter one thing about it, and then explore what will be affected by this one little change. I'm your host, Ninja.
I'm Gage, better known as Cat Comic Studios.
And
Clocky.
Chris,
God damn it, Clarky!
Stop stealing Chris's thing every time!
I'm Clocky and I consistently miss my entrance cue.
it's okay.
Clarky, you don't get an outro now.
Chris gets 2 outros because you stole.
Okay. Alright.
Chris,
well,
what's your name?
It's Chris.
There we go.
Alright.
Yay.
Yay, Chris. Yeah, you do need to actually
Alright.
do your intro after I stole it like a football.
I'm Chris, otherwise known as Chris C. So, yeah.
Nice. So yeah, after that wonderful start, are we ready for today's episode, everybody?
Heck yeah.
Never.
Let's be honest, if people didn't know we were screw-ups, they're not emotionally prepared for this podcast.
True.
Yeah.
Shit, you right.
Including one episode where, like, 5 minutes of it was Gage leaving because his cat threw up.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah. Meanwhile, no,
We're
I mean, I
prepared for
talked
this
about
episode.
4, I think. Well, no. Gage brought it up.
Oh, okay. You guys can talk about vor, but I can't talk about
No,
inflation.
you did! You brought the vor part.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
Mostly.
Yeah,
Nami
so
just brought up
what's on the docket, Ninja?
I think Gage brought this one up, but I'm not sure. It's
Oh, no.
Garfield, except John can understand Garfield, but only John.
Yep, that was me.
Oh. So, Garfield with Garfield instead of Garfield minus Garfield.
Yeah, so
Like-
Garfield, Chris.
Yeah, I feel like that like from my
It's Garfield squared,
recollections of Garfield.
Sorry, go on, Clarky.
From my recollections of Garfield, I feel like John like toes a line between he clearly does not know what Garfield's thinking. But
I know in the
rather-
comic strip he doesn't.
He waited with a fairly impressive degree of accuracy.
Yeah.
So he's psychic.
Like he gets pretty close a lot, so I don't feel
Well,
like it
he's
would
a-
change too much. Like
he's a-
especially
no,
because
he's
it
a-
would be kind of hard
he's a
to make
pet
him
owner.
Ah, true.
person than he is because he's already in kind of a weird outcast status. Like I'm recalling at least one strip where where the entire joke of the strip is just John being weird and Garfield is just sitting there like, you can't make this stuff up, people.
Yeah. I think I remember that one too.
This is a fairly weird man and a fairly weird cat in a state of homeostasis, and I feel like the removal of the telepathy barrier, I guess, question mark, is not going to it wouldn't affect you much.
I feel like it would, though, because, okay. Stepping back for a second, let's look at the characters other than John that interact with Garfield. So we have Nermal, who can understand Garfield, because they're cats. But in this setting, we're assuming that only John can understand Garfield. That makes it absolutely terrifying for all the other cats and mice within the vicinity.
Yeah, I feel like the
Yeah.
impression. So my thinking was like, you know that old WB cartoon about that guy that finds the singing frog,
Yes.
Oh
but
yeah.
it only sings around him. Like that's
Baby.
yes, that's like basically my thinking here. I don't know if Garfield's necessarily being like an asshole about it. Like,
he
Garfield's
could
talk,
not,
but
Garfield's not like impressive enough not really impressive enough that John would immediately try to sell him Broadway, I think. He's just Garfield. He's just
Burn.
he just does cat things.
But
Yeah.
this is also a
Garfield couldn't
cat.
potentially whip out a great musical number, but I'm just saying Garfield is not very inclined to do that. He'd be like, that sounds like work, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ruining John's life would sound like work, and it would be really inconvenient for him because that would damage his potential lasagna source.
It's a much worse version of the singing frog, I'll admit.
But it still gets into, like, slight horror territory in the sense of, like, have you ever seen that comic where, like, John had brought Garfield to the vet? Like, this was a joke parody one. And the nurse, I don't remember her name, but she
Liz?
looked at yeah, Liz was
Liz,
just
yeah.
like, John, what is Garfield? And he was just kind of staring like, I don't know. Because we're assuming this Garfield can't speak with other cats. Because it's only John can understand Garfield.
I guess it depends on what parameters.
Honestly,
we put
I
on
love
it.
I for one am living for the implication that Garfield is like an elder god pretending to be a cat at best, because like this is
I think I've
because that
s-
not only
I-
that's hilarious though, because this is Garfield we're talking about. He doesn't give a heck. He
I
just
mean,
doesn't
if
care.
Hobbs can be a nature
He's
spirit,
so unmotivated that he's just like exclusively he's just like, yeah, if I just bum around your house and eat your food, that's like that's basically this is basically a warlock contract. You're basically a worshiper. I only need one of those to survive anyway, right?
now I'm just imagining him meeting like Lovecraft from BSD and going, "Oh, you are also tired all the time." Say that.
see, this is the thing though. If you specifically are saying that Garfield is like an elder god, then I feel like Garfield technically has the power to end the universe,
Yeah,
and
but
just
that
chooses not to.
that would hamper his ability
course.
to get lasagna. You need to understand.
That's the only reason John gets to live.
That's the
John
only reason
lives-
we all get to live.
Okay,
If
like,
John dies,
live.
the universe ends.
No.
Thinking here is like
No,
Garfield.
he
well,
would just-
Garfield obviously
he would
existed
just- he
before John and entirely outside of the can of time. So I'm just saying, John has inadvertently. Garfield is just a fundamentally indifferent, chaotic being. He doesn't really enact wild destruction onto things, except like maybe like one day animal control tried something with him, and you know that person was evaporated and their dust is now on Neptune.
They
But
got
like,
snapped.
he mostly just doesn't care. But I mean, you know, the nice answer is they got dematerialized. There's, you know, just pick how scary you want this to be. Anyway, but, like,
Gage.
Garfield is just indifferent. He's not very hostile. He'll like get a petty comeuppance on people now and then, but he doesn't really care.
I mean, he
But
does have a
He's
vengeance against
eccentric
alarm
and kind of
clocks.
stupid.
But that's most of us.
I'm saying like John's like eccentric and kind of stupid. So John accidentally entered a contract with this being of great power by just like happening to just be like, yep, this is a cat. I'm definitely going to take care of this cat now. And Garfield is like, food and worship. Yes, good. This is mine now.
Gage. Thanos feel.
The thing, there's
You
the
got-
best.
You
there
got
is
you
more
got
than
your
one picture.
lasagna. Yeah. You got your lasagna. Yes. What did it cost? Everything.
I'm so glad that that is a Google search that bore fruit. Okay, so I feel like the parameters of this, we immediately jumped on Garfield as an eldritch god, which I like. That wasn't where I was expecting to go. That's fun.
That wasn't where you were expecting to go, and I'm in the conversation.
Yeah, well, fair
Have I
enough.
ever failed to pull the subject back to elder gods?
You
I was
right?
going to say.
I mean, okay, there's just a couple problems with it. The most jarring being, then why the fuck does he hate Mondays if he has no reason to care about the passage of time?
Didn't you hear that theory? It's like, oh, that's when John goes to work, so that's why Garfield's sad.
Oh,
When
no!
Oh, that's honestly kind of sweet.
Yeah,
Ah.
like that's just, I don't know. Like, Garfield is an elder god. I support that. I like that headcanon. But I do also want to bring up the thing. It's like, I didn't necessarily want to imply that Garfield couldn't talk to cats. Just that he is capable of speaking to people, but it's like either only John or he only speaks to John for some reason.
You know, honestly, that actually is kind of charming if the
I
implication
gotcha.
is actually that John is the only person he likes enough to talk to.
Aww.
Aww.
Or it might just
Yeah.
be that Garfield can just be like, and no one will believe you, John.
But yeah, but like, is that really going to like hurt John? Like, John is clearly not somebody who's afraid to let his weird stripe.
Yeah, you're right.
Just fucking
So I
talks
mean,
to
like, yeah.
Garfield in the presence of others.
What are you yelling about?
Has an entire one-sided conversation. He just has an entire one-sided conversation with Garfield.
Yeah.
Where he'll just be like, he'll just take phone calls
Yes.
from Garfield in public.
What was that, Garfield? You want me to pick up more cheese at the store? Well, okay. Talk to you later. I love you. Bye.
John just like on the phone, like in the middle of the supermarket, being like, you know what cheese does to your digestive tract, buddy.
Yeah, you're right, Garfield. I don't remember what John sounds like.
Sounds like a boring kind of.
What? Clocky?
He just
You
kind of
supplemented the birth of color Carl voice.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's just Carl.
Oh, so
Nah, he just kind of
so
sounds like
Gage's
a.
voice.
Shut up.
He just kind of sounds like this boring guy from the Midwest. Like, now Garfield.
Why y'all just roasting
stop
me?
That. No, not you. Damn it, you know what I meant.
Chris, own it. We can roast Gage. It's okay. We all roast Gage in establishment.
Look, I do deserve it.
I really wasn't intending to, but okay.
No,
we're
we're just giving him a hard time.
I feel
Ask me
worse
about my
about
clown pants.
accidentally roasting Roxy like so much when she was on the podcast. I love her so much.
Okay, well, Mr. recovers from girlfriend. Do we have any more thoughts on the Garfield, on Elder God Garfield? I mean, I suppose the funny thing
what
here
does
is
this
this
make-
would imply that John is the bearer of a warlock contract.
I feel like you do have to kind of explain it, Clocky, because I feel like not everyone is aware of like this Elder Garfield thing.
See, what
I
I'm
feel like
wondering
we
is how
explained
does
it
this
just about
affect
as well,
how does this affect Odie? Is Odie also an elder god that Garfield just finds amusing to keep around and screw with?
No.
I think it's funny if he's just a regular ass dog, and then he's getting and then he's bothering this Elder God.
God to a non-believer. Odie is the non-believer in this context here. Odie is just an ordinary dog who does not care and just utterly no cells.
Can we just give you this podcast, Clocky? Like, I feel like you can just hold this whole thing.
Aww.
Podcast, and I
I'm
appreciate it
saying
very
he's
much,
funny.
no.
It's not where I was expecting to go, but you know what? I'll take Elder God. I'll take that. Like, that's
Yeah.
the reason
God.
why, I guess.
Like, find the opening theme of a Garfield cartoon and just deep fry it to hell and back, except
What the fuck does that make normal though?
But also,
remind me of
God.
normal. I am not up to date on my lore.
He's the little gray cat.
Cutest kitten in the entire world. Who is also a total asshole, and Garfield hates him with every fiber of his existence. If
Normal
murder was
rival god.
legal, Garfield would have probably killed him.
Normal is a rival god.
Fair.
A terrifying fey being. It's kind of cheap humor to make the cute kitten actually something terrifying, but it's like
It works. It's reliable.
if he's a worthy rival here. Thing is, to make the comedy going, we need to have Normal be something Garfield cannot physiologically evaporate.
Hello,
It's funny.
Garfield. Are you
it's
ready
funnier
to
for
meet the fate of a god?
He didn't talk like that. How dare you?
Normal also was just like, hey,
Yeah,
Garfield.
we draw the line.
Hey, you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
normal
we
sounds like this.
believe that Garfield's an elder god, but we draw the line at Normal being Normal talking in the hello voice.
Someone has to draw a line somewhere.
Pick a
No
god
lines.
and play.
Oh.
I picked the god of lasagna. And then he just unmakes a planet somewhere in the universe.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love where this went so much.
You see why this is like my favorite podcast?
Yeah.
Ah,
What episode
thanks,
is
Dave.
this
I like
gonna
your
be?
face too.
Out of
I'd
curiosity.
have to do the math. I want to say episode 6?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
666. Wait, no.
Yeah!
Cursed.
The
Well,
number
not
of our
that far.
Lord
160
Garfield.
more episodes for that.
I did do the math though, and in like a year and 3 months is gonna be when episode 69 is.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I am gonna have a field day with that episode.
No.
Just for once, for that episode, we should do. Just for
No
that
sex
episode
jokes.
specifically, we should take really saucy asks, and then no other day.
Yeah.
Either that or do the most
Saucy
tame.
ass. We should do sauce. No. We should do saucy asks and make them wholesome.
Bizarre and horrifying that they are no longer. Well, what am I kidding? If it exists, someone is getting a boner about it.
Everything is horny
Okay.
except.
God, no.
Anyway, shall we proceed? I am admittedly somewhat eager to get to the Minecraft.
Well, we have one that we have to get in between that, so
I
sorry.
know.
But
I
on-
understand. But I
We'll get there, Clocky.
get there.
Well,
Normally we do put like the video game ones in the middle, but no. We're gonna
Alright.
do Toy Story 2 first, which is
Oh.
Toy Story 2, except Buzz is the toy that breaks, not Woody.
so interesting thought right off the bat.
Yep.
That was a planned sequel that never happened.
Wait, what?
Okay, so back in like the early 2000s, when Pixar's distribution deal with Disney was starting to come to its end,
Mhm.
Cars that deal, and everybody was like, "Oh crap, that's going to be bad for us because Pixar had our most popular IPs from the last decade."
Mhm.
And things were not going well in terms of negotiations because Michael Eisner, Scarecord, Hardball, and at a certain point he was like, you know what? We don't need you. We'll sequels without you. And there was a division formed called Circle 7 that started developing and Monsters Inc. 2.
Sounds like an
Sorry, I'm
Organization
gasping so
13
much,
knockoff.
but like I never heard this before.
Yeah, no, it's pretty juicy among Disney fans. Toy Story 3 was going to be about Buzz getting broken and recalled to his factor to like this place in Taiwan, and they were going to rescue him.
Huh.
So yeah, that was literally going to be a Toy Story film, but then Eisner got booted, and Bob Iger took over, and he was like, you know, how about we just buy Pixar? And the rest is history.
And now they just buy everything.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like I think the Muppets was the first kind of them buying things.
Well, I mean, the Muppets was one of their first big high-profile ones, but they were already like doing missions with people
Oh yeah.
by that point.
Yep.
So, Ninja, give me a reminder of like what you mean with this, with Toy Story 2.
Okay, so in Toy Story 2, it essentially starts with Woody getting his arm torn, and
Right, yep.
like his mom, Andy's mom was going to go fix that, but he ended up getting like wrapped in with the. No wait. So Woody ended up becoming part of the garage sale because he was trying to save another toy. And the Al from Al's Toy Barn ends
He
up,
buys them.
yes.
He
Was specifically told that, he tried to buy him, was
And
told
then-
not for sale, stole
And they
him.
stole him. That's right.
Yeah.
So didn't he? So Al stole Woody because he was rare, correct?
Yes.
Like, wasn't that the
Yeah.
logic?
Yep.
And
Brief
he would.
Thing I want to say here that like unnerves me is like the whole Secret Life thing is kind of a terrifying rabbit hole to go down in
Yes.
any situation because there's often not really a good explanation for why they have to maintain the secrecy at all. But
Yeah,
like,
I know.
it's pretty unnerving that Woody is physically kidnapped by someone who potentially means him ill. physically cannot defend himself by like escaping out of there because he's being observed, and it's like that would make the whole thing so much easier if he could just be like, all right, you know what, no, screw you, you're trying to literally steal me away from my family against their wishes, I don't like this, goodbye.
He could just like just go like, no one's gonna believe you.
Not this again.
You're God in this guy. And just
Honestly, that's still a
and hook
great.
it.
That's still a great scene in the first one when he messes with Sid. That's still
Yeah.
a great scene. We
But yeah, but like,
toys
that
can
scene
see
raises more questions.
everything.
So like that means that they have shown themselves before, is the thing.
Yeah, but it's only
So
under
there's
like extreme moments of duress.
Qualifying an extreme moment of duress. He's being kidnapped.
I feel like he doesn't feel like he could take Al, is the thing in that situation. Like when they were fighting
Also, there's
Sid,
like there was like a
He
lot of
doesn't think
other
about the
people
fact that he has,
around
like,
at that
an
point.
advantage of
Yeah.
He doesn't have the advantage of psychological warfare, given like how many dolls that this person has. Like, you know, I'm just saying, you don't have to make this a big deal. You could just have to wait until the guy gets to his car or wherever it is he's planning on transporting him, and then just look him dead in the eye and be like, "God knows your sins." And I'm like, what is this guy gonna do? He's gonna flip his unicycle.
okay, wait. In Toy Story 2, did they ever rebel against Al at some point, like all the
No.
toys?
No.
Or is it
No,
just
they
that
just-
that wood prospector dude was the enemy? That was the only
Right.
one?
Yeah,
Yep.
it was Prospect. Al
So
loses because he loses out on the big deal that he had with the toy museum for the complete set, the complete Woody's Roundup set.
yeah.
And he had bet everything on it and goes bankrupt as a result.
Yeah, so two things. First of all, I feel like there's another alternate cut of this movie where Woody just gets all the toys to murder him.
Okay.
What?
And that would be
Why
funny.
No,
would
no,
you
no. The
jump
problem-
to that.
The problem with that gauge is the
Go on.
fact that Al only had the 4 toys in his house.
Oh, that's right.
So
Okay.
we're
And the
looking at
other-
Jesse, Bullseye, the Prospector, and Woody. Now, in a fight against a full-grown-ass man, Bullseye is the one that's going to die first.
Let's plan this out.
Because he acts most like a dog. So, you just punt that guy, rupture his brain. Do toys have brains? We don't need to discuss
I don't-
that.
That's. I'm really terrified of the prospects.
This is like I'm going to invoke Shinto mythology again.
Go ahead.
They're like
Oh my God.
Tsukumogamis. I probably just butchered that pronunciation. They're like a soul inhabiting an object. Is not destroyed. Just you have to heck the object up pretty bad to get rid of the soul. Like you know.
Still, what the fuck is
not a
Bullseye
bullshit.
gonna do?
Like, I mean, like you could defeat them by trapping them in a shoebox. I'm just saying you couldn't kill them so easily.
You could. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess you could kill the vessel, and then the soul would just find a new one.
I think if you destroy it completely, if you completely be hecking the vessel, that would take
Maybe.
the soul out of it. Because like
Yeah.
things like the incinerator scene in Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
The thing here is, I feel like it
When
would
they
be
go to
much.
hell.
Wait, that was 4? What
No,
was
no, no,
3?
3.
Okay,
I
Three.
think Foggy meant 3.
okay.
One with the incinerator. I'm not up
Yeah.
to date on my Toy Story
That
lore.
was-
Anyway.
Yeah, four is the one where they make a godless abomination in
Yeah.
Forky.
Yay!
It happens.
Anyway, before we get
They actually-
before we unpack that, my thinking here is it's like I feel like it would be less karmic if you, because that just like gets a bunch of really worrying things on you, and then it would also like have the other Andy's toys. Like this is a nice cozy family of people who are used to playing around with a small child. They're not going to be like, yeah, murder. They're going to be like, Woody, what the hell did you do? You've damned us all, you fool.
Like they believe
Yeah.
in gods.
Yes. These are God-fearing toys. Anyway,
Did
comparatively, it
toy
would be
souls
much
go
more
to
effective
hell?
to unpack too. Where it would
Yeah.
be much more effective and much more precisely targeted revenge if you just, mentally, if you go in psychological warfare here and you just
Oh,
drag him out,
no.
make him never want to see a doll again.
just like start fucking up his house, like little things at first, and then slowly more and more, and he doesn't understand what's going on. Because like,
A full
what's
horror movie
doing
hard
this?
stall on him.
No! Let's not
This does
explore that
immediately imply
one. Let's not
Okay,
explore
I
that
wanna get-
one.
that like haunted toy antics
Cool.
are
If we
actually-
keep
Hold
going
on,
down
okay,
this route,
please.
I have to leave.
I have.
No,
I actually
no.
have some.
All right.
No.
Clocky. I actually have something slightly more related to the thing at hand that doesn't involve invoking gods and fucking elder nightmares.
Again, Abe, have I ever failed to try something back to Elder Gods?
Stop that.
It
My
breaks what we're trying to ask in the first place, Casey.
my
I mean,
question.
to be fair, this happens every week. Let's be real.
My question.
Yes.
So, why is Woody so rare in the first place? Because like, there's this
they
whole
answer
Woody's Roundup
that.
thing. They do.
They-
Okay.
What
was the logic?
I mean, it's from this. I mean, it's basically from the canceled show, and they stopped making the stuff.
Like, it wasn't that successful of a show. From what we can tell, there weren't that many episodes. It's essentially like finding, what would be a comparable...
I mean, it was probably a success, but like not a worldwide phenomenon necessarily.
So there just weren't that many toys made, but like somehow this fucker got a hold of the other characters,
Yeah.
but not Woody. Which
Right.
I would think the other characters would be more rare in the first place, would they not? Like,
No, I
the-
think
Woody was the hero, wasn't he?
Fine.
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, that we're assuming that because Woody was the main character, his toys were probably sold out quicker. Like, he could have been, you know, a bit more of, like, first run kind of thing. Like, the first
Okay.
toys they came out with were the Woody ones, and then Jesse Prospector, with Prospector and Jesse essentially being, like, bargain bin.
Yeah, they're not as important.
Yeah.
So then,
That almost might imply that the show was like already starting to fail at that time, so maybe the other characters were considered like more of a desperate cash grab.
could be.
Yeah.
So, the point being here, in your version, Ninja, would it just kind of be the inverse, where Buzz Lightyear was like kind of a flop sort of
Right.
thing?
Right. Like, it could have been big when, you know, it was Andy's birthday and he's like, oh boy! But then the show itself was, like, panned by critics because, you know, it wasn't very good. Maybe the plots were just kind of garbage. And the toys were mass-produced but also cheap as hell. So to find, you know, a decent Buzz doll is pretty bad. They could have even been recalled for being shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna weigh in here. I'm gonna
Oh,
say I can't
no,
believe
that
Andy
was-
is just a long-term hipster.
Friends?
Oh.
Bunch
Oh,
of
but
weird
yeah.
new shows.
I do want to say this one thing. So, Forky is like horrified by his new state of existence.
Yep.
And is like, I'm trash. I'm not a toy. And he frequently tries to like fling himself into trash cans.
Yeah, he tries to kill himself.
That's horrifying.
What the fuck?
No, it's actually really funny. They have like a whole montage set to a song and everything.
But he's a suicidal toy!
He's not a toy, though, is the thing.
He is! He exists as a toy!
That's the
Yeah.
label put upon him.
He still has consciousness!
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But they actually, the closest they get to answering this of why this happened is, so at the end, so Bonnie made him. She makes another toy, Knifey, and he goes, "Why am I alive?" Long pause. Forky, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
So yeah,
I missed the tangent where this came up, but the point I was making with Buzz Lightyear being less popular.
Yep.
So my question, would the movie just kind of be like the side characters from that cartoon just replacing the ones that Woody encountered?
yeah, Booster, Mira, XR.
Yeah.
Also, it would mean Zurg would act more like that, which is great because I love Zurg from that show.
What if it was like Zurg is like, oh yes,
I
I'm
want
your
to
friend,
fight.
and then, partway through he's like, a villain can never break character, and then tries to fucking kill Buzz.
Oh my god.
I'm into that
Great.
though.
Okay.
Just like his bloodlust for Buzz overweighs the fact of him wanting to keep the entire set together.
I mean,
Crazy.
the thing that I fear though is that
Yeah.
in this universe where Buzz Lightyear is less popular, I feel like that implies that Woody was more popular and possibly westerns in general, if only in that time frame.
Yeah.
And I don't like any universe that implies there might be less cool science fiction.
Oh, I thought you were going for the racist angle.
What? What?
What? Westerns tend to be more racist than space shows. Even though if you look at the context of it, then space shows are also pretty racist in the sense of here's this alien race that acts weird, but westerns are more blatantly racist.
Yeah.
I didn't
Anyway.
even know I was walking into this minefield, but here I fucking am. Okay. I just want more
This is what we
sci-fi.
Oh. Okay.
I don't remember the show very well, the Buzz Lightyear one.
Yeah.
I remember
Fine.
I remember kind of liking it.
It was a
I
fun,
watched. The only thing
Saturday.
I have any kind of clear memory of is there was one where two of the characters ended up conjoined into an eyeball monster, and it was basically just an annoyance to both of them.
That's hot.
Thanks for the podcast. I need to go kill Gage with my own two hands.
It's okay, I have his address and I have a car. It'll take us
I'll be bringing
the
my
rest
fist.
of the show, but we'll just keep you guys
If you both start
informed.
driving now.
Yep. We'll just
Alright.
get on a cell phone and record the rest of this.
Ninja, I assume it was you that came up with the original idea,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So, did you have any other points to it that you thought would be interesting that you wanted to bring up?
Okay. I feel like there is even a different dynamic in the sense of if Buzz is shown oh, you used to be this big toy, because he has a lot more I don't want to say issues with his self-esteem, but he doesn't have as many related to oh, I'm not the better of the two toys, and more the sense of who am I as a person?
Yeah.
It gets explored in the first
Whether or
film.
not he's real.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
Cocky?
Yeah.
It was he has more problems with is if he is real or not.
Oh.
That's what
He
Cocky
has
said.
ego about his.
Nice.
I feel in that case it doesn't work as well because the first movie I feel was mostly about Buzz,
Mhm.
coming to terms with the fact that he was a toy.
Yeah.
No, I would say it's pretty evenly split between
Yeah.
Woody and Buzz's issues as characters. I mean,
What was
Woody is
Woody's issue?
Woody's issue was being replaced.
yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
forgot about that.
Yep.
it's kind of what drives him to try and preemptively replace Buzz in the first place. So,
I guess that's why I just liked Buzz more, so I didn't remember.
I love Woody. He's
Honestly,
one of
though,
my
that actually
favorite
would be
characters,
interesting though
ever.
if that changed. If the anti plot if the L plot is used as a way to introduce Buzz to effectively his contemporary, because it's he would know these people because he has the memories of believing he's a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if they have the level of meta awareness he does or not, or if it's Buzz being faced with the prospect of having to break it to other people that they're not real either.
Oh, yeah. That
Or would there
actually-
even be the sense of I have false memories of knowing you before? Cause
Good God.
this is getting to things I didn't even think about when making
This
that
is an
originally.
This is an existential rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's Toy Story. It's just fucking. It's a nightmare.
It's delightful.
It's a nightmare burrito.
This is like kin drama.
Not that bad.
Well, no, part
I
of
feel like it would be more like this idea of like, like because the problem isn't that they're choosing to identify themselves as these entities. The problem is that in our creation of narratives, forced people to live these roles. Like you could like if we're pulling inspiration from the cartoon where like half the joke of Zurg is he's not that threatening. It's like either way you spin it, either you have a Zurg who's like totally good at getting his menace on, or he's not, and either way he feels like he's supposed to be, you know, simultaneously awful and a joke, and like that's going to be unbelievably frustrating for someone who wants to be taken seriously, and it's going to be heartbreaking for someone who wants to have friends.
Oh.
Hey, Toy Story's fucked up, actually.
It's like these people have no say over these personas that they are given that factor heavily into their existence. And in the case of Buzz, they don't even like know. It's like is Buzz's experience normal? Is Woody's experience normal? Like,
I mean, there is that bit in Toy Story 2 where
whether or not they're real.
there is the thing in Toy Story 2 of the other Buzz being even more deluded.
Why are they all made? Why are they all... So, I guess, I mean, okay, we're going to get into some Toy Story meta here, but I have to question, are they like given souls? Do the souls just kind of happen? Like, does every soul start out the same?
I think they just come out, I think they just come alive when they come out of the box.
Man.
No, because we're shown in Toy Story 2 that even before they come out of the box, they still have that sense
Yeah, the
of
Prospector was in his, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
For a bit.
And all of the Buzzes were still very much like,
Yeah.
do your role, get in the box, Buzz.
Actually,
Get in the box, Buzz, like he's Shinji.
Get in the box, Buzz, or Woody will have to pilot.
Oh my god. Hey, by the way, new idea for...
Nope.
Nope.
I literally know nothing about that show.
Yep. We're not-
Evangelion
No, not
accepted
to look
Toy
further.
Story.
Other than, like, it has gay undertones, but
You should watch it then.
no.
That's fair.
It's
Anyway.
gay undertones, not lesbian undertones.
Are you gay racist?
I mean,
Anyway,
technically that would be a thing.
explode.
Ninja, stop validating my dumb things.
Like, you can be gay and
Anyway.
racist.
Yes, the Ninja.
Okay, I think we've gone a little far.
Yeah, I feel
By
like
our
We're at the
standards.
bottom of a well here, witnessing the world unfolds.
That's the thing,
world
like-
unravel into nothingness slowly above us. And
Toy
I think
Story is
maybe
just...
we should.
Toy Story is just like one of the most bizarre fucking things if you think about it for more than like 2 seconds. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna say
It's
I
not
think
more
that...
bizarre than Cars.
No. I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's somehow less fucked up than Cars, because I feel like Cars, like, okay, there probably aren't people around. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're like Transformers and they just fucking like made themselves or some shit. I don't know. But like toys, like they have souls for some reason, yet they choose not to like reveal that fact, and they just can be abused and destroyed.
Okay, getting actually serious here for a second.
Oh no.
You brought me on knowing that I've seen these. Okay. The story movies emotionally is not practical realities of their existence.
Of course not.
It's all about It's
Yeah,
not.
the characters and the emotions.
So I feel like I feel like it's not that you can't dig deep, but digging in that direction is like
You're not supposed to. I get that. I get that. That's the point. Like you're not supposed to actually
I
think
feel
it.
like the thing is like a lot of the terrifying implications here is it's stuff we're kind of finding because it's fun in the sense of like you don't like do a Mario 64 boundary break and then go, wow, what a fucked up game this is. This looks terrible. Why didn't they make this prettier?
Yeah.
This is our relationship to the Toy Story universe, and in fact, most of the metas we go into here.
Fair.
Our point is not to say that it is badly made. Our point is to say that it looks really funny if you just totally just take a about face and smash headfirst into the wall and through out the other side,
Exactly.
and then turn
Fair.
around and look at the sky.
Like, I feel like that's the
This is
spirit
meta
of the
boundary
show.
break.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit of the show is not to be like there is always the like
I'm just
actual.
coming from my vantage point of like.
We're overthinking it. How dare you?
No.
Oh yeah, and we totally are. Totally wildly overthinking this, like absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the fun, though.
I mean, it's like if
But,
you
like-
overthink talking
But
dog
I
movies.
think the people who make them are aware of the implications, but that's why they kind of play it off mostly as a joke.
And that's fine. That's
it's-
totally fair.
When it gets close to that sort of thing.
Like I do my stories. I do the writing every once in a while and stuff. Like I understand that there's some things that you just, if you want to make a certain kind of story with some sort of like weird theme or motif or whatever, like sometimes you do gotta hand wave away that stuff because otherwise you'll just get stuck in a bunch of dumb minutia that isn't the point.
And
But
sometimes
I
you
am
just
never going to
realize
say
that
that you cannot just dive deep into that dumb minutia of whatever stupid shit I make.
Be fair. Do we want to?
Anyway, what's next?
Oh, I thought Clocky had something.
Oh, yeah, Clocky, you have some?
I'm good.
Okay. We can argue more about Toy Story another time. I'm sure it'll come up.
I
We
do
can
have
talk.
one positive though.
Go on.
Like, I like the way the toy families are set up. So essentially, all of them are found families.
Yeah,
Oh.
That is
That is
charming.
true.
Yes.
that's always
That's
good.
good.
Yes.
Because we don't want to consider toy birth. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a sweet
Wiping
charming.
that from my
Googling that now.
No!
Wiping
No!
that
No!
from
No!
my
No! No!
memory. Wiping it.
Yeah. Just getting
Fellas.
birthday cakes.
Okay. So let's go to the next one. Which is Minecraft, except the setting is urban rather than post-apocalyptic.
Ooh.
Wait, is it specifically Minecraft lore that it's post-apocalypse?
Yes.
What?
There's zombies and skeletons everywhere. And the
Oh.
only things that look like Steve are zombies.
Oh.
But like the question here is like, how would you manage the population? Because the real kicker here, like Minecraft is based on crafting and such, and like if we're suggesting that there is a legal system that's issue with you, for example, randomly constructing things, I feel like this would rapidly turn Minecraft into with a building component.
What with the building component?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh. You say that like it's a bad thing.
Do in Minecraft that would be basically a crime in an actual society.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking of it more like...
Invent new crimes to implicate me of everything that I did. I don't think there's a specific crime for going house to house and stealing everybody's front door. But this is things I have done. And this is not, and let's not talk about the blood magic mod.
You hear that, police?
I mean, we can still assume it's a setting where it's just like you're the player character and you can kind of take apart a building rather than...
It could still be kind of like no other humans around, I guess, but that feels like more depressing because then you're specifically pointing out the fact that like, hey, when you die, humanity's gone. Have fun fucking around in grandma's house, asshole. Like, what the hell?
There's actually a mod that does that. There's a mod called The Lost Cities that basically turns the entire game world into just an urban ruin.
Ooh.
Fun.
So this
You're the only
exists.
person there. Yeah, it does exist. Thank you, Minecraft mod community.
Pretty much
Doing
anything
Minecraft is
exists
something
in
like this. Is that there's actually a mod that will do at least some of these things.
Yay.
Lost Cities, it's like it basically just, if the idea is it's just an urban environment, but you're empty. That would be interesting, but empty. It would be interesting and pose a lot of challenges, advantages, sort of things. I suppose
feel
you could
like-
kind of further and kind of like push a bunch of things, because Minecraft as it is has a pretty sword and sorcery high fantasy vibe to it, more so than like it doesn't have a lot of technology unless you bring in the mods, which will give you everything and anything.
I'm
And
sorry.
it's like very enchanting dragons,
Hold on. What
wizards.
Chris wanted to say?
I'm sorry. You say technology in that tone, and my stupid immediately goes to, wait, SpongeBob, we're not cavemen. We have technology.
Oh, I thought you were gonna pedantically explain that technically an axe or whatever is technology.
Oh no! I just my brain is infected with being able to quote the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob on command.
He'll get his turn, I'm sure. Don't worry.
I love how incredibly ominously that's phrased, Gage.
Yeah. Do you
We'll
seriously
come
think
from
we're not going to
time.
bring SpongeBob into this at any point?
Yeah, on the doc, I already
I
have
agree.
Gage's suggestion of SpongeBob but horny.
Please no. Even
not
I
a
have to
thing.
veto.
I'm lying.
Okay, good.
Till
You
what?
suggested-
Am I right, gamers? Love the amount of red silence I've created. I wasn't expecting that to be so effective.
The worst part is I could have suggested that, and I just didn't remember. And even I'd have to be like, Ninja, no, you can't let me get away with that.
Wait,
Okay.
what? I missed what the actual subject was.
SpongeBob but horny.
As you should.
Oh.
Have.
See, yep, nope, that's
Good.
cursed.
I think I've
Goodbye.
seen it on DeviantArt. I think it exists.
I've seen enough pregnant SpongeBob in my life.
Why did you have to tell
Now
me
I
that?
genuinely do have to go kill Gage with my own two hands. Anyway, Minecraft. Am I right, gamers?
Okay,
anyway, so
Minecraft.
Minecraft is very sorcery-ish, so I'm just saying, if we're modernizing this, we might as well make this more interesting. Well, not necessarily modern fantasy, I'm thinking. I'm saying we could make this more interesting than just changing up the setting of Minecraft, which would naturally just change all the resources that you're accruing, not accruing, so on and so forth. If you just make it a modern city but empty, it would change the whole thrust of the game, and you would just maybe make things really sci-fi instead.
Mm-hmm.
No, thanks. No, I
am not putting that in the video. It's pregnant SpongeBob. We're not putting it into the video.
Would pregnant Sandy be okay?
No, we're not putting that.
I am blocking that right now.
Fine. Be that way.
Gage?
Go on. I was listening to what you said, Clocky.
Likes you into the sun. Neither of us will survive, but it will be worth it.
I can't delete your post because this is just a call room instead of an actual chat room. We should probably make this a chat room, though.
The chat room.
Yes, thanks for people are all doing this bad things on Discord. Anyway, do you know what I'm going to do?
No, it's a direct message. We don't have like a group.
So, Clocky, what you were saying, like,
these are things that I don't mind me. I'm just putting some images down there to cleanse the eyes of the chat, so I don't have to look at that thing Gage sent anymore.
I deleted it. Relax.
I didn't trust you.
Anyway, so what you were suggesting to me sounds more like it makes me kind of think of like the building aspects of like Animal Crossing or like The Sims.
Yeah.
Thinking a lot more if you just dead ass drop kicked Minecraft as Minecraft into just a much more sci-fi oriented series where it's still, you just got to dig around and build and mine and craft. Well, Minecraft.
I love the phrase.
Except
I
you're
love the
not
phrase
like
dead ass.
Drop kicking, except like you're not going to be like potion building. Let's teleport to hell. Instead, it's like aliens. Cryptids, sure, why not? Punch Slenderman directly in his dumb.
Isn't that what
face.
Endermen are?
Friends.
God knows.
For one thing. In a very fantasy sensibility kind of way.
I feel like
They live in an alternate activate with a magic wizard portal, and then you go there to fight a dragon. This is very high fantasy. This is the only way this could be more high fantasy is if Gandalf was there.
Or
So we
Ganondorf.
find like an old, like, cocaine den to make potions.
What?
No, you do not. My point is that you don't.
Why is
drugs.
cocaine high fantasy to you?
No, I'm saying for the new urban one.
Oh, okay.
You make like I don't know genetic modifications or like synthesize things like build a respectable chemistry set. Because
Yeah, he's
why
not
would you
making
do
Breaking Bad.
Well,
how
I'm thinking
potentially
of.
unsanitary illegal drugs are?
I'm saying how you would find that in game. You would find like someone's apartment that was making drugs.
I mean,
Yeah, why don't you find that in
You would
regular
also
life?
just you would eventually you would still have like sand and stuff. It's not like an urban environment destroys the existence of sand.
You know,
Hey,
Like,
it's,
unless you
it's
eat
rough,
sand.
of course. It's everywhere.
shut up, Chris.
Look. That
So-
is burned into my fucking memory.
Clocky, I feel like this is also potentially this is just like our sci-fi Animal Crossing. Like you come to like some space station or something, and like you're rebuilding it. Like I feel like that could kind of be your idea, or one
Yeah,
version
if
of it.
you want to
anyway.
make this like really intensely sci-fi, I mean, I suppose you could also do like, you could pretty much just get some Rain World in here where it's like, whole situation where it's like all of the organic life is like techno-organic because you have to be limited about how you get food and such
I like that.
because it's like if you just because like if you just take a normal modern city, then just fucking off into the wilderness far enough would make it indistinguishable from the base game, which is not our objective here. Our objective is to make things different.
So it's just an endlessly sprawling city.
Growing city, mechanical monsters. The
It's
zombies are
replica.
just dead bodies with Terminator
More
skeletons inside of them.
Yeah. Well,
That's not our concern because this is Minecraft, and Minecraft doesn't care about lore. Is there a zombie apocalypse now? It is. Did it possibly come from zombie pigmen? That's your headcanon, and we don't have an explanation.
didn't this start out with it being Minecraft in just like an urban environment though?
Yes.
Oh yeah, so we're not limiting ourselves in that way. So yeah, so we could just cut loose here.
Like,
We could party hard.
man.
But what?
With what I've made here.
Yes. Agreed.
Clocky, I mean, you're just the king of tangents. I can't take that away from you.
I realize if I would have put suburban rather than urban, then we just would have had Fallout 76.
Oh no.
Or no, Fallout 4. My bad.
Yeah, only slightly
kind
better.
of 76, because I don't know if
Don't make me think of Fallout 76.
Did you please tell me you didn't waste your money on that?
No.
No, Roxy played the free version though, because it was free for like a week or something.
I'm so sorry.
And then everything went to hell.
No, she tried it for free and was like, "This is not fun."
Good.
Yeah, that seems to be the
Yeah,
general
Todd
consensus.
Howard.
She was just like, "It's Fallout 4, but more." So my statement of 76, Fallout 4, same thing. It's fine. Stop making
What
the
if we
same
made
game,
Ma-
Todd.
What if we made a Minecraft and Fallout crossover? Yee.
Why are you giving him that voice? That's even what he sounds like.
That's just Gage's like generic nerd voice. He's done it for tabletops.
Stop! So you're doing like the Simpsons Jerry Lewis thing.
I'll accept that reference, I guess.
Okay, maybe this one, Mr.
Okay, but
Director
important
from
question here. Would you
Animaniacs.
suggest that, like, how would you get to the other realms instead of constructing a portal? Would you like just have a rock, make a spaceship?
No, consider the following. Sewer.
Ah.
Into the ninja. Yeah,
Yes.
you run into the Ninja Turtles that way.
Yes.
The
Like-
Ninja Turtles
Oh,
are trying to
bro,
out-
you got some
outside the
craft?
galaxy.
Got some Minecraft in our sewers.
I think that was actually. I think there were portals to another world in the Neverending Story sequel. Like, you literally go into the sewers, jump into a body of water, and bam, you're in a different world.
I thought that was Warriors of Virtue.
Oh. Maybe both.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like kid movies have a shortage of urban fantasy portals.
Yeah. Or was it the Smurfs?
God damn you.
Weird. There's an awful lot of games There's an awful lot of works that are advocating for you to water, which is a little concerning, actually.
It's fine. It's where the
What was
magics
that?
are.
What was that one Disney one? Was that called Enchanted?
Yeah, she
That
came
one
up
The one where,
yeah,
the
she
one
came
where
up
she
out
was
of
from a magic world and came to the real world?
Yes.
Magic Cartoon Land.
Yes.
I think it was Enchanted.
And she came out of the
That was-
sewer. So there we
Yep.
go. More sewer portals.
Thanks, Disney.
Thanks.
Sewer
And
portals.
are you saying the reason why I'm not a protagonist of an isekai is because I just avoid sewers?
Yes.
Alright, give me
Oh,
a minute.
God.
I will never see you guys again. I have to go find a sewer. Have to find a
God.
manhole. I'll be right back.
Enchanted is an isekai. How did I not know this before?
Since we're dipping into the sewer waters of urban fantasy, one thing that kind of annoys me, like, pardon me if I go on a bit of a tangent on
Oh.
this.
Please do.
I feel like I gotta be honest, I'm a little like kind of getting bored with just like the idea of like, oh, but mortals just can't see the magic things, ooh, because the mist or whatever the stuff. Like I wish somebody would come up with something like some other ideas like I thought would be interesting. It's like, oh, what if you could just make a world where that stuff exists? You could just do that. Kids can get that. They can understand that.
They're
If you
doing it with the new Pixar movie Onward.
yeah.
Where
Or it's like you have to specifically enter an actual alternate dimension or something. Like, I'm just saying there are other ways to do it. It doesn't just have to be like people can't see the monsters or they appear like a coat rack. Woo! Get off my
I
dick.
feel like that would be fun if it was like completely ineffective. If Glamour and thing were completely ineffective, because it's like something just looks like a coat rack, but it just looks like a coat rack doing extremely suspicious uncoat rack like behavior.
There you go.
You walk into the supermarket and there's just a fan just walking around the aisles grabbing a Coke.
There you go. That's already more creative than just they can't see it because of reasons.
So it's like, okay, that mystical beast doesn't exist, but what the fuck is up with the ceiling fans doing that? Like, this is a common occurrence I keep seeing. One of them orders like a ham sandwich at the local deli. I don't know what to make of this.
Can we just make this story?
Honestly, though, we're getting way off topic. We probably need to save this for actually another podcast time.
Yeah.
But it'd actually
need to
be
go?
hilarious if you wrote at some point here.
yeah, we're gonna.
I think it would be
roleplay
hilarious if
after
you just
this.
wrote like a modern story. The basic premise is all of the fantasy creatures are firmly convinced that they are not being perceived here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Operators are barely trying, and the entire city they live in has just accepted their appearance.
Yes. Thank
Guy
you.
with, like, the sword Excalibur just crashes through the ceiling in the middle of like a Destiny fight, and then the librarian's just like, "Hi, Ted," and he's like, "Hi, Barry," and none of them question it. It's just like, no, that's just Ted. He's just like that.
That was my third idea.
Awesome.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, Minecraft, except the setting is urban rather than post-apocalyptic. We should have swords crash through ceilings.
And it should be sci-fi instead, apparently.
Yep.
I mean, I think the thing is with Minecraft, like you have the availability to you can make cities though, if
Yep.
you're dedicated.
Yeah.
But I think like randomly generated cities might be pretty fun to go explore because
True.
Yeah.
part of the reason I came up with this is I've done a lot of multiplayer servers and it's always fun to, go exploring around the cities that they make because you'll see
Fair.
like beds and things And there's so many different ways that people do, you know, giant high-rise towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just feel like if you also had mobs that went along with it, so like, you know, pigeons instead of chickens, or I'm trying to think of a
Tie
animal you
Minecraft
could...
tethers to an entire flock of pigeons and release them into the sky and use them instead of an elytra. You will have a sensible player gliding past me with an elytra, and then just with a horrible cacophony of pigeons, I fly past them and I say, "Get good, scrub."
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And like you wouldn't need to train the wolves, you would just find dogs, or you would just find cats, or you would even like find hamsters that are like, I will sacrifice my blood for you, please take me home. And like there'd be a lot more dog breeds because you're not just limited to this is a wolf that I tamed.
Beautiful.
And you could have a car or a motorcycle. Or you'd have to tame a car.
You have to tame it?
Yes. You have to give it meat so it will trust you.
Oh, it's like the Cars universe.
No!
Full circle. Full circle.
God, I can also not wait. Along with SpongeBob, I cannot wait until we get to dive dick deep in the Cars universe.
Didn't we... Oh, no, wait. That was part of, like, unaired pilot just kind of going over ideas, wasn't it? We haven't actually gone over Cars yet.
Cool.
But,
yeah,
like,
that might be
it was
fun.
a voice call that made
I
me
will stick up for Cars 3 as being a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen the first one. I heard the second was not great, and I hear that there's like a billion spin-offs.
Second one is bad. Can get...
The second one was like a spy movie, except Mater was like accidentally roped into this stuff. Or at least that was like the side plot question mark?
It was
bad. The whole thing? I don't know.
It was bad.
Yeah. And I liked Mater. Like, I watched all the shorts because I was like, yay, I like Mater. But that was also pretty close to my blue collar phase. So.
And a little of him goes a long way.
Yep.
In terms of driving the plot.
Yep.
Driving. Get it?
You only need him for like 5 minutes of the entire thing, and people will be like, "Oh."
I think it's kind of like it's like Olaf. It's like if you get too much of him, it'd probably be he would have gotten a lot more. He would have gotten annoying.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I feel like I personally don't have much to say about urban Minecraft. Just it'd be neat.
Else
I want sci-fi Minecraft though.
About that, Clocky?
Nah, I'm good. I have dispensed my words for the evening.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're
I'll get an outro.
we're pretty good on just finishing this up.
Yay.
Any final thoughts we want to get out?
Toy Story's fucked up.
Yep.
No. All right, let's do outros. Chris, you get 2 because Clocky doesn't get any. Not really. Clocky, go first.
Okay, yeah, Clocky.
I'm Clocky, and when I'm placed like this, I can't interrupt anyone by accident.
I'm Chris, and thanks for joining us again.
Now your second one.
I'm alternate Chris, also wishing you well.
Thank you.
Thank you, alternate Chris. I'm Gage, better known as Cat Comic Studios, the world-renowned creator of webcomic Key to the Future's Fate.
And I'm your host, Ninja. Tune in next week when we go over Harvest Moon, except you run a industrial meat plant. Bye!
Better than a brothel.